Do marriage your way. A member of 1D at Wawa, and get those beach umbrellas under control.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Well, hello there, and welcome to a Thursday. It is February 27th, 2020, day 167 of Gotta Get on Ellen. I sent her quite a funny little video yesterday of telling her Tucker's pissed. She's mad. She's telling me not even to bother wasting my time trying to get Ellen to have me on her show because it's been fruitless. She's ignoring us. I don't know how you can ignore that cute, sweet, adorable face of my little pup, but they're managing to do it. So, taking different tacks as I go. I still haven't come down on her for being mean with all of the scaring. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for a while. It seems the coronavirus has come to our house. Joe has the coronavirus. I'm joking. I hope. He's got the sickness, though. Apparently, it's going around at his work. People are calling out left and right. He came home from work yesterday, said he wasn't feeling that good. He said he was feeling a little dizzy, kind of queasy in the tummy. I told him to take up the airborne. Get the airborne, swallow it down. We moved him to the other room. Ironically, that is the topic for today. Do you sleep separate from your spouse? We do when one of us is sick. And when you start talking about stomach issues, I just looked at him. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. I hope you feel better. Can you move to the other guest room? Because I don't want that. I don't want it. So I'm hoping that he feels better. I'm hoping that it's just something that's, here and gone. And that he will be feeling better soon. He did not say he was feeling any better this morning. But he went to work anyway because he's a trooper. And everybody else is called out, so it's probably another reason. I don't even have any, cold medicine to give him because it doesn't do any of the symptoms, doesn't help any of the symptoms that he's having. Because I looked at the cold medicine we have on hand. I asked him if he wanted some Tums or anything like that. He said no. Took a little more airborne before he went off to work. So say a little prayer for Joe today that he's feeling a little bit better. Some very exciting news happened earlier this week. Harry Styles, are you familiar with the name Harry Styles of One Direction? Huge boy band, in case you are not familiar. Stopped at a Delaware Wawa this week to buy a hoagie. What I want to know is what kind of hoagie did he buy? I didn't read the whole story, so maybe they did mention what he actually ordered, but one of the workers got a selfie with him, and I'm sure that they were just beyond thrilled. He's gone off and done some of his own stuff. Now, I don't know if One Direction is even still together. They were huge for a while, though. I remember I was working at the Long Beach Island Foundation for the Arts and Sciences when they were big, because the two girls I worked with, they were just crazy over One Direction. They literally had posters up in the office. They were just insane about One Direction. So, could you imagine just going into Wawa for lunch and there's someone from one of the biggest boy bands of all time, back in the 60s, it would be Paul McCartney, who was in New Jersey over the weekend, by the way. Believe it was Metuchen. His wife, her family lives in that area, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, a lot of celebrity sightings in the area recently. But back to what I was saying, that would be like me walking into Wawa to grab a sandwich or a cup of coffee, and there's John Bon Jovi standing there waiting for his sandwich to get done. Oh, my goodness. I've heard he's not that nice in person. I've heard both. But when you hear that people can kind of be an ass, it kind of scares you off to try and approach them. Or you just sit back and wait for someone else to do it. What you do is you kill them with kindness. Oh, my gosh, John, it is so good to meet you. Your music has meant so much to my life. I have seen you in concert like 10 times. I've been on stage. I just think that without your albums, particularly Slippery When Wet, my whole childhood would be completely different. Now, how can you be mean to that, right? Kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. I ran into Charles Barkley once in a Wawa right outside of Philadelphia. I think I've told that story before. He was not directly in front of me in line, but 2 people ahead of me. I had stopped in on my way to work. I was working the dreaded split shift then, so I was on my way back in the afternoon, and I had a habit of stopping for a coffee. And I heard a conversation. I really wasn't paying attention, and I heard somebody say, "So you live in Philly?" And he was like, "Oh, no, I could never live in Philly. I have a house here, but I would never live here full time." And that's kind of when I perked up. I was like, who is in Philly? Kind of bashing Philly. And I look up, and then I look up some more, and then I look up some more, and I'm like, oh, Charles Barkley. Yeah, he's allowed. He can do whatever he wants. I'm not going to say anything. But the nicest guy, when he was leaving, I guess, people had stopped to talk to him and such. When he was leaving, I was right behind him, walking out the door, and he stopped, held the door open for me, and let me go first, very much the gentleman. And then this was way back before, your phone had a camera in it. A woman came walking up to him outside with one of those disposable cameras. She's like, can I get a picture? So, yeah, it was a long time ago, but that was a very nice experience. And I didn't even talk to him, but he did hold the door open for me, which I think is pretty cool, if I don't say so myself. New Jersey has introduced a beach umbrella bill. Here's what it entails. It must be properly secured in the sand, or else you will face a fine. I am typically a government hands-off person. I don't like the government telling me what I should do, how I should live my life. They get involved in just a little too much, in my opinion. And most of the things that they kind of get in the middle of are things that if people were doing it properly to begin with, there would be no need for new legislation. For example, the single-use bag ban. I've been a big opponent of this. I reuse my single-use bags over and over again. I'll use them for lunch. I'll use them to take snacks and treats over to other people's houses. I use them predominantly to pick up after Tucker, and then I just toss it in the trash. And I feel that I'm being punished now by not having the option to get these anymore. I think that it's horrific that I now have to either supply my own bags to take my groceries home or be charged for bags, especially since you could get paper bags for free until this ban went into effect. The ban is on plastic, not paper. So I don't know why all of a sudden I have to pay 10 cents for a paper bag. It's annoying. I find it ludicrous. I find it to be on the same level as going to a restaurant to eat and them charging me for a napkin. I think it's the same exact thing. But having said that, the beach umbrella bill is something I think I can get behind. Does that make me a hypocrite? Maybe. I don't know. But I spend a lot of time on the beach. Well, I don't actually spend a lot of time on the beach because, I live right on the water. I have everything right in my backyard. I have, access to a bathroom. That is the one issue with LBI that is really a huge deal. There are no bathrooms on or near the beach. They are placed in certain areas. But if you don't want to go to that area, and those areas are super crowded, by the way, because it's one of the very few bathrooms on the 18-mile long beach. I think there might be 4 or 5 of them spread out over 18 miles. They have bathroom facilities in other places, like they have some along the Bay Beach. When I used to go to North Wildwood, they started putting porta potties on the beach. Do they look nice? No. Of course they don't. They did make little pink ones and little baby blue ones to decipher, which one you should go into depending on what gender you are. So they made them a little cute. But you keep up with them and they don't smell. And it's a place for people to go to the bathroom. And since you're charging me to go on the beach, I think that maybe it's not that much to ask to have a place to go to the bathroom. Don't tell me to go in the ocean because I don't go in the ocean that far. I am stand at the edge of the water up to my ankles. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little, a little sassy, I might let the water go up to my knees. I do not let the water go up that high. And I would prefer not to go, honestly, in the water. Just would prefer not to do that. So I don't really go to the beach much anymore, mostly for the bathroom issue. But, also when I'm hanging out at home, I have a bevy of beverages at my disposal. I have snacks. I can come and go as I please. I don't have to hike up the dunes to get back out to the roadway to grab something from my car. I just run up my steps. So I don't go to the beach a lot anymore. But I used to spend a lot of time on the beach. And I can tell you, I have seen these people struggle and fight with their umbrellas. Obviously, especially on windy days. And you can see them getting frustrated because it's not going the way that they want it to. I typically don't use an umbrella. I do have an umbrella, and I have one of those little twisty things that you attach to the bottom of it that you can kind of screw into the sand. And I think that's what they're trying to require people to purchase in order to make sure that it's secured in a more proper way, that it won't just fly off. Because it's scary. I have watched people trying to get their umbrella in the sand. And I feel like I've seen them just kind of give up. And they're just kind of like, oh, well, this is good enough. And then that bad boy goes flying down the beach. And there have been instances where people have died from being impaled by a beach umbrella. What scares me even more are those half umbrellas that a lot of people with kids have. It's way bigger than a regular umbrella, but it's like a half, it's shaped like a half umbrella, and then you put the whole thing in the sand, and it kind of almost reminds you of a little bit like a shell covering on a stage or something. And those I've seen people really struggle with, and if that comes flying at you, man, you better duck. So if people would just do what they were supposed to do, like they were with the bags, as we know, a lot of them do not, we wouldn't need such a bill. But I feel this is a big safety hazard. I don't know. Secure your umbrella. It's for your own safety and everybody else's. Everybody wants to have a good time at the beach. Let's not have any major accidents that can impale people. I mean, even just the word, impale. People are impaled by these, but because they fly out of the sand and then they go, end over end over end, and then they just, because they have like a little point. Most of them have like a little point. They're not usually very sharp, but enough to, impale someone. The other thing to keep in mind, if you're buying a beach umbrella, get one that has a vent at the top. The ones that don't have a vent are more likely to fly away. because the vent helps the air go through it.